mindful.
Look, Miss Honorary Knight, Auntie Aratani brought us Dodoko's story.
Now we can finally see what secrets Klee and Yoimiya were keeping from us.
Oh, it's really nothing that exciting.
It's the story of Dodoko and me.
And me. And you guys.
Paimon's in the story too! This is Paimon's first time featuring in a
Of course we included Paimon. This is the story of everyone's big happy adventure with Dodoko.
This story is me and Yoimiya's gift for Miss Honorary Knight.
Lady Yae wanted me to inform you that since this book was printed together with another work, there are many more copies. We won't charge you a printing fee, but in exchange, the extra copies of your book will be included as a free gift with purchases of the other book.
Oh, are you sure? I mean, it's fine by us, but...
Actually, the book that yours was printed with is called the Teyvat Travel Guide.
Hey, that's Mommy's book!
So, Klee's mother is a writer?
Klee's mother, Alice, is a renowned adventurer in Teyvat, and the Inazuma edition of her popular Teyvat Travel Guide series is set to be released imminently. Lady Yae has already decided on how to promote it, a joint endeavor by Teyvat's biggest and best mother-daughter adventure duo.
Paimon knew it! Mika would never do anything for free.
A typical move by Lady Yae. It works out well for everybody, doesn't it?
Yep, I'm super happy because my book gets to be released together with Mommy's book. Oh, I'm so glad I came. The Idori Festival is the best!
Don't miss the official stall of the Yae Publishing House. I just absolutely love this fandom.
Illusion shattered!
The passenger ship from Lyra that we're supposed to meet should be arriving soon. Let's go to the docks. You know that Shincho will be on board, right? You must be visiting from Liyue to participate in the Idori Festival. We'll be your guides, and we'll take you onto the island. Huh? Is it Paimon, or have we met somewhere before?
Yes, in fact we have. I'm Shu from Feiyun Commerce Guild. Aboard this ship we have calligraphers, painters, and even players of Theater Mechanicus. The inventor of Theater Mechanicus previously came to the Feiyun Commerce Guild seeking investment. Although the guild manager was not interested, the master still wanted to support them. We heard that they'd be demonstrating the game and letting people try Theater Mechanicus at the Idori Festival. So the guild manager instructed Master and I to take the opportunity to come to Inazuma and investigate the product's potential.
Oh, speaking of which...
Master, he's,
Whoa! Shincho's just sitting there.
Whoa. It's the traveler in Paimon. I presume you are guests in Inazuma as well? It seems fate has
Oh, we aren't actually guests. We're actually guides for the Idori Festival.
Please, no need to worry. I was a little too caught up in a novel on the voyage here. When I finally realized what time it was, the first rays of dawn were already... yes, now that we've arrived, the Kanjo Commission will likely wish to inspect our invitation letter. Huh? That's odd. There was a piece of paper underneath my bag. Strange. I don't recall seeing it there before.
Ooh, let Paimon have a look. Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's from the same series as the story we found before.
The story you found before?
Oh, yeah! In the warehouse down Yeah, that's it! A friend of ours is on Rito to paint portraits of the 5 Kasen. You know, as part of the Idori Festival. Poetic stories about the 5 Kasen have been hidden. If you can find one of the stories and give it to this friend of ours, then there's a chance you'll...
Wait a moment. So you mean that...
Hey! It's hard coming up with stuff...
There's a chance of meeting Calx in person?
Huh? Oh, yeah! You could say that.
Really? That's wonderful! I knew that Calx would attend the Idori Festival, but convincing my father to let me come to Inazuma was proving to be quite the high hurdle. I had to really rack my mind to come up just a few days later. Word then came that Calx would be busy painting portraits of... It is a most rare opportunity for both Calx and I to be in Inazuma together, but it seemed he would be too busy with the portraits to meet with me.
Don't worry, Shincho. Even though Calx has work to do, he still has time to see friends. Wait, also, we heard that Calx did illustrations for your,
So you've already heard. To be honest, my works have drawn little interest in Liyue. However, the novels are selling quite well. Calx is not only a skilled artist, but he also carries out his craft with great alacrity. I heard that it took him merely a few hours, but when I looked at the art, the brushwork did not even look the slightest bit rushed. His work is Oh my! I was beginning to get carried away there. Let us depart. Quickly now.
Luckily, the idea of meeting Albedo managed to draw Shincho's attention and keep the situation under wraps.
Traveler, Paimon, how are you?
You must be Calx. It's a great pleasure to finally meet you. I am the author of A Legend of Sword, Forgive me. It's rude of me to introduce myself by my pen name when meeting in person.
And you may call me Albedo, then.
No, that would be...
Why not? Seeing as we're both friends of the Traveler, it'd be more... Besides, we've already corresponded with each other many times before. In fact, I feel a bit self-conscious seeing you act...
It's not just you, Albedo. We haven't seen Shinjo act this awkward before either.
You guys, it's certainly not good taste for you two to be... Oh, by the way, we happened to find a story from the poem hunt competition at the docks. I heard that you are...
Poem?
You know, that thing where we have to find pieces of paper with stories of the 5 Kasen? Venti found one, and then he was allowed to be a model for one of your portraits.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I understand the story now.
Splendid. Though, I'm still piecing together the story myself.
If all of you are free, why don't we just...
Well...
Do you have other plans, Shinjo?
No, not at all. Speaking of dining, Shimura's unagi chasuke...
Shimura's? Unfortunately, today is a bit windy.
That's perfectly fine with me. But I must first unpack my luggage.
Huh? No way! Paimon thinks we acted well together.
No, Paimon, I'm not referring to us. Traveler, what are your thoughts?
Huh? Shinjo's suspicious.
Paimon, you read the poem, right? Although it may seem confusing to Shinjo on its own, what if you...
Read them together? Suiko lost Aoi no Okina's poem in a drunken stupor. So, Aoi no Okina Huh? Wait a minute. Could today's story be hinting that the one who stole the latest copies of A Legend of Sword is... No way! That can't be right! Shinjo only arrived...
And that is precisely the point of suspicion. If Shinjo had only just arrived in Inazuma, how could he recommend Shimura's Chasuke? Moreover, he didn't raise any questions when I suggested another place because of the windy weather. This means he knows that Shimura's is an open-air restaurant.
Are you saying that Shinjo has already been in Inazuma for some time?
Yes, that is indeed my...
But how could Shinjo be the book thief? His mission is to fight for justice.
Calm down, Paimon. Even though this is the first time I've met Shinjo in person, we've communicated via letters for some time now. I do have some understanding of his character. I think there must be some deeper motive at play here. The story also tells us that Aoi no Okina...
Oh? Could Shinjo...
It's difficult to say at this point. But given that your restaurant is indoors, it'll be easy for us to detect anyone following or even... I'll be relying on your assistance to get to the bottom of this Good. Then let's head...
Shine down!
Those two look from... Ah! It's Ippei and Shinojo! Guess they must be good friends, huh? Anyway, let's go say hi. Hi, Ippei. Hi, Shinojo. What are you guys doing here?
Oh, it's you. Thanks so much for your help, lad. I was just ordering some clothes when I ran into him.
You know these two as well?
Yes, they helped me and Master Kamaji out a great deal last time. I never had the chance to say thank you properly. What about you? How do you know them?
Also a chance encounter. Our Lady had them join us as additional guards.
So we all know each other, huh? What a...
Not exactly. We've only just met. We both came here to order some clothes and got to chatting. Somehow we ended up on the topic of Master Kamaji and Lady Hiragi's relationship. Wait, it's okay to talk about that, right?
It's probably fine. They've known about...
Oh, yeah! Paimon remembers those two had a thing. In fact, that's old news, though. So why has it come up?
We have reason to suspect that they'll be getting...
Wow, that's great!
Of course, this is just personal speculation. They haven't announced anything, and we wouldn't dare to ask.
I was instructed to place an order for some formal wear for a big banquet. Turns out that Ippei received the exact...
They're both preparing for a banquet at the same time. They're both purchasing the kind of fine wine and confectionery normally reserved for big...
Lady Hiragi has been in high...
This is wonderful news!
What's wrong? Oh, don't mind me. She's about to be happily married.
Right? I think so too.
Yes, but we shouldn't let ourselves get overexcited. What if it's all a big misunderstanding? As things stand, now if they sent me out to deliver wedding invitations...
Shinoju doesn't look like he's taking this very well at all.
Sorry, I'm ashamed to be so out of sorts at work. I'm not living up to...
Are you worried about their wedding?
Not exactly, it's just... everything feels...
I get what you mean, I really do.
What should we do? Should we just...
I don't know. That seems a bit rude.
Right! If Ayaka knows about it, that means it's a...
I don't think it's a good idea to bother the...
It's fine. She and Ayaka are practically best buds.
I see.
Let's go to the Kamisato...
I don't see anyone suspicious around. It seems clear for the moment.
Oh, this whole thing's starting to make Paimon a little nervous. What do we do?
First, we must ascertain whether Xingqiu was already in Inazuma or not. If we can find evidence of him deceiving us, since we're still waiting for him, why don't you go and chat with other guests in the restaurant and...
Albedo, what should we talk about when Xingqiu gets here?
I will try to break the ice by talking about our work on novels and illustrations. If he really is hiding something, then he might feel even more nervous than we do. If we start by talking about our...
Oh, come to think of it, Xingqiu mentioned that he'd like to thank you for finishing the illustrations on time. He said they looked amazing despite the time you had.
Is that so?
The last phase of the Idori Festival is when they release the all-new publications. The one I'm really looking forward to is A Legend of...
That's right! A signed first edition is going to become quite the collectible.
I've seen Gen Yu's signature before. His handwriting is super neat. He must be really diligent about his stuff.
He'll be there in person on the day of the release, so we'll get a good look at him then.
Wait a minute, did you just hear that? Not only will Xingqiu be signing novels at the release, but his handwriting is...
Hello there. What can I get for you?
Hi! Do you have any special recommendations today?
Why, of course. I'd personally recommend our freshly caught seafood. It's been pouring these past few days, so the fishing boats haven't been able to sail.
So the weather at sea has...
It sure has. A few guests from Liyue were just telling me that their boat was heaving and rolling.
Oh, this...
That was delicious. Inazuman cuisine largely consists of fresh seafood, which is certainly...
That's good. We were worried you might not have an appetite because you... Now's our chance. Let's talk to Xingqiu and see if he says anything. Maybe we could start by asking him about...
Well, I've never embarked on such a long journey before. Though I was quite excited when we set off, the long days at sea quickly became...
Speaking of the journey, did anything noteworthy happen?
Well, to be honest, I spent most of the trip with my nose in a novel.
Well, that didn't tell us. Hi, Shincho.
Oh, I was reading a novel called Pretty Please Kitsune Guji. It was sent to me by my editor.
Didn't you feel dizzy while reading on the ship?
It was nothing I couldn't handle. Don't forget, I'm proficient in the arts of the Guhua clan. That being said, there were quite a few people aboard.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything...
To be honest, there wasn't much to see. Just water all around, morning to night. The sheer monot. So, when the peak of Mount Yogo finally appeared in the distance as we approached the islands of Inazuma, everyone crowded the deck to have a look. However, the ship sailed along at a crawling pace. It took a whole day from the time we...
Paimon didn't catch anything suspicious so far. Oh, right! If it took an entire day to reach the docks, then it would have been pouring...
We learned a couple of things from his account, but we still require more evidence. Let's discuss creating novels with Shincho.
While it is entertaining to read novels, writing one is an endeavor of its own. You must give great thought to every detail, from the layout of the and even when you have come up with interesting content, there's still no guarantee that it will be...
I couldn't agree more. Whether it's writing a book, creating art, or studying alchemy, seldom can you really feel...
Shincho and Albedo are getting into some deep topics now.
Speaking of illustrations, Albedo, I've long wished to express my sincerest gratitude for... My novel didn't sell well in Liyue, so I must admit that I had some reservations regarding... Yet you've consistently managed to select the most important scene of the chapter for your illustrations. This made me feel as though what I was trying to
Thank you. However, I took some risks in the illustrations, so... Light novel illustrations are typically centered around the characters, but this time, I had...
Well, that scene was intended to depict the change in the world, so I thought it very fitting to draw...
Doesn't sound like anything's...
No, there was a crack in his alibi. My illustrations were sent for printing the moment they arrived in Inazuma. So, logically speaking, there's no way he could possibly know what the illustrations look like. Shincho, we have something very important to ask you now.
Oh? Why the solemn looks all of a sudden? Huh? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Mr. Okazaki told us earlier that actually the weather at sea was very bad these last few days. So when you said that everyone came running to the deck to see Mount...
On top of that, the latest installment of A Legend of Sword will only be revealed at the Idori Festival. Even we, the creators, haven't received a sample copy.
Well...
The jig's up, Shincho. Are you in some kind of danger but can't tell us the truth? Don't...
No, please. I suppose my lack of sleep is inevitably taking its toll on my mind. I did in fact come to Inazuma early to handle some things. Let me consider how to explain.
Oh! Well, if this isn't a coincidence.
Huh? Tone-deaf bard, what are you doing here?
I heard that the owner of this establishment has some fine-aged wines. I didn't want to miss the
Paimon knew you couldn't possibly be up to anything good.
Says who? In fact, I come as the bearer of good tidings. I just bumped into Kujo Sara a moment ago. She said that the Tenryou Commission has apprehended the criminal who stole all those copies of A Legend of...
Huh? The criminal who stole A Legend...
Did I say something I shouldn't have?
Oh no. The person they apprehended. Was it by
Apologies, Kujo Sara didn't mention a name. But I saw her taking...
Everyone, it's too late to explain. We must make haste...
Welcome to Uyu Restaurant. Please.
Wait! Onodera is innocent!
Oh, so you must be the author of a legend.
Anyway, you mustn't take him away.
No need to worry, Genyu. I've just explained everything to Madame Kujo, and Kuroda has testified.
Yes. In fact, we were just
Oh, phew. Wait a minute.
Well, to be precise, we had dispatched 2 additional squads here in order to prevent the
Xingqiu looks pretty flustered. What exactly is going on?
Though it's most embarrassing, it appears quite a few people are away. In the end, I'm the one responsible.
No, Genyu. It's only appropriate that I take responsibility for this. For the Idori Festival, I recommended the idea of selling newly released novels signed by the... Not only was this the first major project I was in charge of since joining the Yae public, however...
Yes, to be frank...
Even though such an event will... So these past few... So I came up with the... I thought everything will work to make things work.
Onodera, I agreed to your proposal. Also, I knew that at a previous event, the Yae... I practiced tirelessly for an entire... But, looking back on it now...
Hey, come on, you two. Loosen up a little. The theft was nothing more than a simple misunderstanding. Besides, everyone has something they do not wish others to see.
Yeah, that's right. Other than...
Onodera, I think you should
Yes, I understand.
We should probably be...
Onodera? What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be on
I'm very sorry for all the trouble that I've caused.
Yes, Onodera, but why didn't you tell everyone earlier?
That's right. We're a team, and we should be helping you.
Let's leave the past behind us now. Our first priority is to help Genyu with his signature.
My progress is not what I had hoped for. Even after working through the night these past...
Oh, no wonder Xingqiu...
I understand. Murata, go back to Yae.
Yes, Mr. Hirayama.
Yes, good idea. Ah, you've just reminded me. 2 calligraphers from...
It seems I'm really in for it now.
No need to worry, Genyu. I'm sure you can do it. Didn't you finish the last chapter of your...
Yes, but writing novels and learning calligraphy are 2 entirely...
Even though Xingqiu still has to deal with his handwriting issue,
I always used to prefer working alone in my workshop, but I've come to realize...
We also owe a special ode of gratitude to the mysterious person who has been...
Huh? You mean whoever left behind those stories?
Pardon me, but what are you talking about?
Oh, right. We haven't had it.
I see. It appears that Onodera and I were spotted when we were moving the book. Albedo, may I ask you one thing? Are you able to include me? Not only do I owe the successful resolution of today's incident to that story...
No problem. Considering the similarities...
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion, Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akahito.
Albedo really is something. He finished the portrait of Aoi no Oki. Wonder how Xingqiu's calligraphy training is going at Uyu Restaurant. Oh, hello? Mr. Storywriter? Are you here? He's a friend of ours in the release of his new... Oh, what's that sound? It was just a cat. It's getting late now. Well, let's go back and get some rest. We still have to go...
Who is this Jimmy everyone keeps talking about?
Make sure you get in line early to buy your special edition drinks.
Illusion shattered!
stopover, one person. Does that mean we're only welcoming one guest? Look! That figure on the wharf! It looks like Kazuha!
Greetings, Traveler in Paimon. I heard there would be guides for the Idori Festival, but I didn't expect it would be you two.
We didn't expect to see you either! Returning...
I was a little surprised myself when I received the invitation. But after wandering the outside world for so long, it's good to have an opportunity to return to my homeland and pay respects to my old friends.
Kazuha, when we saw you in the distance just now, you seemed to be looking for something.
Ah, yes. You see, when I came off the boat with everyone just now, I suddenly heard light footsteps. I could tell they were not footsteps of a regular passenger. But by the time I turned around, the person had already... Even though I didn't manage to catch a glimpse of them, I found this...
Oh! Does the paper...
Huh. How... Fascinating. It's almost hard to believe such things could happen. Sure, here it is.
Last time, Aoi no Okina's poem ended with a reference to Akihito. And Shiren's story this time basically says that Akihito got his name from his love of red seals. However, the Shogun discovered, well, if Paimon were to rate today's story, it sounds pretty unfortunate.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this story. I too was once wanted as a criminal by the Shogunate. So I'm not all that...
But according to the story, Akihito was exiled by the Shogun because of his wrongdoings. You did... Huh? Traveler, what are you thinking about?
Ah, by the way, you mentioned that your friend has been struggling in Liyue and Inazuma. There is a saying, that which has been... While sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass the time. If you wish to create a stamp for his seal, I might be able...
Wow, that's an idea.
The world remains constant over the centuries.
So many complaints. What should I do? Ah, are you the traveler who You came at the perfect time. As you know, the Idori Festival is... In addition to all the things on sale, there's a lot of... But today, we received numerous complaints that a group of people have been hogging the Tanuki. They won't leave so no one else gets to use it. What a headache. Well, we tried talking to them, but the original point of these entertainment facilities was to let people freely enjoy So in principle, it's open to everyone. And there's no time limit on usage. This means that as long as they haven't done anything technically illegal, there is nothing we can do. So, can you... If these complaints can't be resolved and Madame Kujo finds out, I'll lose my bonus this month for
Hogging a photo board, huh? We know. Should we go and have a look?
Thank you so much.
Albedo, we figured out a way to help Shincho.
Interesting. A story of the 5 costs and the stamped seal, huh? Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. However, since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers, it would seem insincere if he only used the stamped seal for his new books. But I have another idea. Using a seal.
There is no escape!
Yes, that's it, Jinyu. Your writing has greatly improved today, which means yesterday's intensive training was effective.
My apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore. My hands are so sore that I can't even move them anymore.
You just had a 10-minute break. Come on, you can do—
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than Mr. Hirayama.
No wonder Lady Yai would always send the editorial director to handle troublesome authors.
Whoa, this is getting scary. It hasn't even been that long.
Mr. Hirayama, we found a solution that might just solve our dilemma. In both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's seal on the books, of course, a seal on its own is not enough. So, I propose that first, we'll use a personalized seal. We can simply carve one using Chenyu's signature in addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Chenyu to write. That way, he will only need to draw a simple pattern on each book.
Let me think. All right, I think that would work. Not only does it still involve the author's own handwriting—
So, what you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
Mr. Hirayama, it suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each book. But if we adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have enough time to do signatures at the live event. And if all the authors signed their books in the same fashion, then Genyu's signature wouldn't look at—
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to design signatures for the other authors as well.
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps to me.
In that case, I shall contact the other two authors participating in the new release event.
It is a great honor to use a signature designed by Calx.
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement this new format, then it'll be a dream come true for me.
Great! Looks like everyone's—
I'm sorry to have kept you busy for so long, Jinyu. Please, take the next few days to have a good rest. The books that Jinyu already signed can be used as special prizes in future events.
We did it. The event—
Thanks to everyone's efforts, Onodera and I are finally free of that mess.
That's right! You're finally free, Xingqiu. Maybe you should—
Illusion shattered!
We still have some time to burn.
Traveler, there you are.
Oh, it's Ayaka! And Venti!
I was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson when I found a strange piece. This bar just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that you've also found similar.
But the paper she found isn't quite the same as the ones we found before.
Here's the paper. Please.
Huh. All the poems we found before were roughly the same length.
And even though there are only 2 short sentences, neither of them are next to the title or... The position of the writing seems to indicate that there is other content written on this paper besides these...
If we take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth." Speaking of which, I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories. It mentions a special ink that will show itself.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there's a pond nearby.
see what it says. The story says that after Sumizomi got the collection of poems from Akihito and put them, the plagiarized words in the poem became blurry.
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily become smudged in books when exposed to moisture. To ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special ink or coat the paper's surface with a waterproof coating once the writing. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to produce, and the waterproof coating could also prove just as difficult. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the shogun, surely one of those two methods was used to protect it. But as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
Which means Akihito didn't plagiarize his work.
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story is. Although the story is saddening, I've decided on the subjects to use for Akihito. Kazuha, Ayaka.
I would be delighted.
Yes, as would I.
There you go. The next two portraits should be...
Yes. And now that all 4 stories have all been collected...
Long ago, Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the 5 Kasen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion, Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Akihito had once belonged to the 5 Kasen. Each poem he composed, he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name. Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akihito was exiled for his crimes, and only 4 of the 5 Kasen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems and noticed that the plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink run. Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem. Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story comes to an end.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah. Ever since we completed the story of the 5... One of the 5 Kasen is called It's just that... How could the story of the 5 Kasen finish...
Oh!
Huh? Not noticed what?
What he means is that the story of Kuronushi was already...
Huh? Really?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after seeing Sumizome rinsing the poetry collection. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akihito's poetry collection. Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. He was However, For the perpetrator who framed Akihito, he was worried that if this poem was seen by the Shogun, then the Shogun could discover the truth behind the plagiarism incident. If so, in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear out this—
Which means the one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person that framed Akihito. What?
That's right. Though there are only 4 poems, they still managed to tell the complete story, since the Shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 Kasen. The only character left is the mysterious—
Oh, okay.
However, the story of the 5 Kasen has more or less reflected which begs the question, is—
A Kuronushi?
Speaking of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up with anything.
Oh, right! Kazuha! He's... Hey, Kazuha! Are you okay? You've been...
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but...
Yes. A few things did come to mind, actually. I don't mind sharing the stories, but I'd prefer not to—
Hey! We're all friends here,
Kaidehara, please forgive my assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The Raiden Gokuden? What's that?
It appears that Miss Kamisato and I were thinking of, but it also has much to do with the Yashiro Commission. It would be improper to speak of it here without the
It's fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy, so there isn't any harm. However, this matter is somewhat complicated and may be difficult to explain. As you all know, the Yashiro Commission's primary purpose is managing ceremonial and cultural affairs, and the Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Although these families were swordsmiths by craft, they also held— Unfortunately, of the 5, only the Amenoma art still maintains its artisan lineage. The descendants of the Ishin art are none other than the Kaidehara family.
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea—
Yes, but that's all part of the past now. The Ishin art— My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort. When he was young, my grandfather traveled all over Teyvat to find a way to— And in my generation, our last remaining family
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly. In the span of a few decades, 3 of the— Later, there was speculation that all of these misfortunes stemmed from some background machination. However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to ruin, such explanation—
Indeed. I've also believed so. However, I know that a major incident happened to my— Not only did it affect the Kaedehara clan, but it nearly jeopardized the Kamisato clan's position in the Yashiro Commission as well. After reading the story of the 5 Kasen, I can't help but feel like it's pointing me toward the truth.
What exactly happened to your great—
I still can't say. I need to speak with someone to verify the details. I will tell you everything I—
The world remains constant over this. Centuries. But human life is like the dew at dawn. Illusion shattered!
It's my lucky day! Feel my blade!
blade!
Let's go find him there!
Make sure you get in line early to buy your special edition drinks.
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived. Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family. I was in my great-grandfather's generation. The Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective. When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished. So the craftsmen all fled and hid for the Kaedahara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan, however, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end they were unable to prevent them from escaping. The Kaedahara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and the family gradually fell. Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation and put the family's status in the Yashiro Commission at jeopardy. This single incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation. But, thanks to my brother,
the failure to forge the blade was ultimately attributed to a lack of required skill and finesse. However, the story of the 5 Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack. Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission has still kept the diagram. Might I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search for the diagram.